Drawing anime-style eyes is harder than it seems, especially finding out how to draw them in a style unique to yourself. And then there's those tutorials where it's like add an eyelid, a circle, and boom! There it is! And you're just like,
hey, what happened?
So I wanted to teach you not how to draw anime eyes the way I do, but show you the essential characteristics of manga-style eyes, and how you can apply them in your own drawings in your own style. Then I will give some demonstrations, tips, and common pitfalls that I have learned over time. So first off, when drawing, it is essential to look at references. So let's examine manga eyes drawn by the professionals. Here I have a selection of eyes from various anime characters, and immediately we see how all anime eyes are large compared to real life, but also come in all shapes and sizes. Still, we can pick out some common trends. Breaking it down, we have the eyelids. Manga eyes are often pointy at the tips and have a thick upper eyeliner, but thin lower eyelids. Eyelid wrinkles are key and can be placed both above and below the eye. Eyelashes are longer on the top than on the bottom of the eye. Next, the iris. This part varies the most, but it often takes up most of the eyeball and is thinly outlined. Shading varies a lot, but most of the time, shading is darkest in the middle, lightest on the bottom, and medium on the top. Or it is darkest on the top, medium in the middle, and lightest on the bottom. For pupils, they are typically small and darker colored, but can sometimes be light colored or open circles with a highlight in the middle. Speaking of highlights are large, but usually not huge, and are put in the center or at the top corners of the iris. Keep in mind that small highlights are also common for anime eyes. Highlights can come in different colors, and can even be added to the eyelashes. Including these key traits will help your eyes look more like this, rather than this. And believe me, the line between these two is a lot thinner than you would think. Moving on to pitfalls and tips. To be clear, none of these so-called pitfalls are always a bad thing, and can be done well. These are just the things I did when I was just starting out that kept my anime eyes from looking like what I wanted them to, and trends I've noticed from drawings that come up when I search bad anime art on Google Images. Remember how our references showed us that manga eyes come in various shapes and sizes? Pitfall number 1 is simply making the eyes too big. Eyes that are too big often look buggy, and keeping your eyes small doesn't make them any less glamorous. In fact, shrinking your anime eyes can make characters more natural and human-looking. Also, looking back to our references, notice how many have simplistic shading. Anime eyes don't need complex shading to look good. So here we have a standard anime-style eye, and the next examples will modify it to expose some common pitfalls. This one, for example, has a lot of lashes. While adding lashes gives extra flair, using them sparingly or drawing them with thinner lines helps maintain the recognizable anime look and prevents your eyes from looking cluttered. Another common misconception is the assumption that highlights have to be huge. In fact, too big highlights can make the eyes look watery and unfocused. Shrinking highlights made my eyes look more elegant and made the colors in the iris stand out more. This style barely shows the whites of the eyes, and this can be fine, but in my experience, not having enough white space around the iris limited the facial expressiveness of the character. Like, she looks nice, but a little spacey. Next up, we have a thick lower eyelid. It all depends on the character design, and this doesn't always have to look bad, but often for beginners, this can make the eyes look clunky, especially when there's no line weight. This can get especially problematic when there's no gaps in the eye outline, because leaving gaps is a pretty key trait of anime eyes, and really cuts the line close between this and more cartoony styles like these. Finally, we have the issue of large pupils. Pretty much all our reference eyes have either tiny, small, or no pupils, and this is a very key distinguishing feature of anime eyes. Large pupils usually make the eyes look like a Disney or cartoon style. It can also make them look more buggy and even alien-like. Take, for example, some of my old art. Ugh. Moving on to the demonstration. Listed here are the key traits of anime eyes I want to include. A thick upper lid, a thin lower lid, eyelid wrinkles, small pupils, and gaps in the eye outline. But here's where your style comes into play. Making your own design choices while keeping these key traits will give you an authentic eye that still looks like anime. It's very helpful to draw inspiration from other art and references. I really like this cool watery style, so I will incorporate it into my own design. I also want small feathery lashes, soft colors, a largish iris, and a light-colored pupil with a dark outline. I want to make extra clear that making good anime art takes a ton of practice, and even if you know all the key traits, it won't automatically make your art look good until you practice. I really encourage all of you to keep drawing and to enjoy making art, and be proud of what you make, even if it doesn't always look the way you want it to. I can assure you that you will keep improving the more you draw, and it's so exciting to see. Let's do another for good measure. This time, I want harder shading and a smaller iris with thick lashes, brighter colors, more contrast, and bigger highlights. Another quick word of advice is to keep your old art. I threw most of my old drawings away, and I'm very sad about that now because they're super nostalgic in retrospect, and it's so cool to look at your old stuff and see how much better you've gotten. I started keeping most of my art starting from a couple years ago, and sure, some of it makes me wither a little bit inside, but some I find I'm proud of, even today. And there we go. I really hope this has given you some tools to make authentic anime eyes that you are proud of. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to support my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again.